Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. Today is the 17th of February 2022, and today in this video what we are going to do is we are going to first look at the earnings that we had identified, would give us some lead into how the market is going to behave going forward. And the second thing we are going to do is look at a few industry news. There are some really good information on the industry regarding fundraising, etc. And after that we'll go into the technical analysis. So let's first start with our earnings for NVIDIA. So NVIDIA announced the financial results, and the key highlights are that there was a record-breaking quarterly revenue of 7.64 billion, which is up 53% from a year earlier. A record-breaking full-year 2021 revenue of 26.91 billion, which is up 61% from a year earlier. And embedded within all these is a record-breaking revenue for gaming, data center, and professional visualization. However, despite all this sterling performance, the stock still fell. That shows the kind of pessimism in the market right now. If we look at the next earnings, which is Airbnb, what we are going to find here is that the company reported adjusted earnings of 8 cents per share on a revenue of 1.53 billion against the street expectation of adjusted earnings of 4 cents on revenue of 1.45 billion. So obviously they have done absolutely better than what the street expected. And moreover, the company expects Q1 revenue of 1.41 billion to 1.48 billion versus the street view of 1.22 billion. So they have projected Q1 earnings to be way higher than what the street expected. So not only did they do blockbuster performance beyond the street expectation, but also they are forecasting much better. This should give some positive impetus in the market. So if we go and have a look at what's happening in the markets, and if we look at the shares for Airbnb, what we are going to see is that Airbnb is down 3.19, and that does not kind of reflect the positive vibes we got from the Airbnb results. So this again indicates the kind of negative sentiment that is prevalent in the market. If you look at another article on Airbnb, it clearly says investors get a whiff of fresh gains after Airbnb earnings show that globetrotters have begun hitting the road once again, which means all the restrictions are now getting dissolved and people have started moving around, and that means the service sector is going to start performing, and that means that a lot of employment is going to be generated. So this is all good news, especially for a sector that had reeled very badly and was the most hardest hit due to the pandemic. So when it comes to Wynn Resorts, what happened was that Wynn Resort had a lesser Q4 loss than expected by the street. So they posted a loss of 177.2 million compared with a loss of 269.5 million in the year ago quarter. And the company logged a loss per share of 1.54 for the quarter compared with a loss of 2.53 a share in the previous. Wynn Resorts posted adjusted per share loss of 1.37 as against the market expectation of 1.23. So here they exceeded the market expectation in a bad way. Revenue rose 1.05 billion from 686 million. Analyst had expected 994.1 million. So revenue is much higher than what was expected. And overall, because of the increased revenue, there is a bit of a positive momentum on the share. Let us go and look at what's happening right now with Wynn. So the earlier positive momentum has gone down, and it's down minus 0.26. So that's where we are at. So if we look back to the previous earnings that we had gone through, the earnings of Uber, the earnings for Disney, the earnings for IBM, the earnings from Apple, and all of these earnings indicated a better quarter forward, and they all indicated optimism, and they had great results for the last quarter of 2021, showing us emerging from the Omicron, and also showed a great outlook for the next quarter. So right now we are in a stage in the market where everything is being discounted. The Ukraine tensions still continue, and that's casting a gloom on the market overall. And once that is removed, we still have the tapering going on. We still have the interest rate hike in the background, the labor shortages. So everything is kind of making the market feel pessimistic, and they're discounting such great performances. So that is the sad story. Now, from this, let us move on to the industry news, which is much more optimistic. The next news line is Synthego raises $200 million to accelerate the field of CRISPR-based medicines from early phase research to the clinic. So this is good news, but however, this company, Synthego, is not in the share market. It's a private company, and unfortunately for us, we can't invest in this. I was looking up all the details of this company, and if you go into the About Us section for Synthego, so it says Synthego is a genome engineering company that enables the acceleration of life science research and development in the pursuit of improved health. So the company leverages machine learning, automation, and gene editing to build platforms for science at scale. With its foundations in engineering disciplines, the company's platform technologies vertically integrate proprietary hardware, software, bioinformatics, chemistries, and molecular biology to advance basic research, target validation, and clinical trials. So this is exactly what Kathy Woods was describing as the new FANG. So we have to watch this company carefully. There is also a good chance that if they have any success in this activity that they are embarked on, there's a good chance that a company like NVIDIA might pick them up. The interesting thing is, if we go down and look at the people who are currently, the companies which are currently investing, it's Wellington Management, which is a big company, 8VC, you have got Intel Capital also. So NVIDIA already has put Cambridge One, if you recollect one of our earlier videos. So they have Cambridge One. So this is right in their alley for them to further fortify, because they have proprietary hardware, they have AI systems, and this would fit in nicely. Let's watch this company for future. And now let's go on to look at what's happening in the markets. We'll start off with the indices. Okay, so let's get started with the indices today. I'm going on to the VXN, which is where we usually start. And as you can see, the VXN has jumped significantly. It's gone up to 9.13%. That's around 2.69 points. And currently it's sitting at 3.1. It has gone above the earlier resistance, which is now a support. So we have a whole bunch of supports out here. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Even all the exponential moving averages are giving support to this to the VXN right now. So it's looking really bad. If we go to Nasdaq, it's looking equally bad, down minus 235 points, almost 1.6%, and we have a resistance here at 14,227 and a support at 13,329. The MACD is looking bullish, and the momentum is falling. So I think the market is still looking forward to some kind of dissolution of all the risks and uncertainties that are around, and it's very difficult to do so because, first of all, nobody has control over the Russia-Ukraine issue, and news has been fluctuating between Russia withdrawing and being imminent to attack. So nobody knows what is happening right now. So that's one issue. And below that is, as I mentioned earlier, multiple layers of problems that we have regarding the tapering, regarding interest rate hike, tight labor market, supply chain crunch, heavy inflation, all those things. And over and above that, we have political uncertainty coming up because we have the midterm elections approaching, and a lot of the January 6th committee and legal cases proceeding towards their culmination. So overall, I think the market is spooked, and we don't know how long this volatility is going to last. But as of today, it's looking ugly right now. With that, let's go on to look at our biotech shares, and let me just sort this to see who is the winner out here. So Regeneron is doing the best as opposed to everyone else, and the momentum is falling, and the MACD is kind of tending towards the signal line. So I would say that today we should be glad if we are able to stay above 624.20, which is our support, this green line here. And right now we are at 626.35. Let's go on to Pfizer. Pfizer is down 1%, that is 51 cents, and we have fallen below two supports. So I'm going to mark those supports as resistances, and One is at 52.48, which becomes a resistance now. And the other one happens to be 49.83. So I'm going to turn that also into a resistance. And right now we are at 49.14. Our MACD is looking bearish and the momentum has fallen down significantly, as you can see out here in the RSI. So there's going to be more losses for Pfizer unless the market sentiment changes. Novartis is down 1.3%. And we have support from the 9-day and 20-day EMA, which is just propping it up. MACD is flat and the momentum is falling. So Novartis is not having any good news today. Vertex is down minus 1.8%. It's being constrained by the 9-day and the 20-day EMA, as well as the horizontal resistance at 234.58. So that's cumulative pressure on the pricing here. And our MACD is bearish and the momentum has fallen significantly, as you can see here. So Vertex doesn't have much positives to go today. Let us look at TLRY, which is down 2%. And MACD is bullish, but momentum is falling. And we are being constrained by the 9-day and 20-day EMA, which is the yellow and the orange lines out here. So it's not looking good for TLRY today. Let's look at Allogene. It's down minus 2.5%. And it's constrained by all the four exponential moving average. To me, it shows that this stock is severely beaten up, but it's still not time to buy it because there is a lot of uncertainty in the market. We need to see some consistent turnaround before we start buying into it. That would be my opinion. Let's look at Verve, which is down minus 3.2%. MACD is bullish, but tending towards the signal line, and momentum is falling. And we have a resistance, which was our earlier support at 29.72. So I'm going to mark that as a resistance now because we have fallen below it. And we are being constrained by the 9-day and 20-day EMA, which is the yellow and the orange line respectively. So nothing good for Verve today. RG is down minus 3.2%. And it's being constrained by the horizontal resistance at 48.82, as well as the 9-day and the 20-day EMA out here, which is the yellow line and the orange line. The MACD being bullish, still the momentum falling indicates that MACD is going to turn and cross over the signal line sooner rather than later. So nothing good for ARKG today. IMTX is down minus 3.5%. It's been as beaten up as it could be. Let us go to a 1-year time frame. It's at an all-time low. I think this is around 1st of September is when it probably went below this at 8.68. So this is as beaten up as it can be. And we are still finding that our momentum is falling further. And our support at 8.80 is going to be challenged today, and we are going to fall down further. Right now we are at 8.82. So IMTX is going to have a bad day today. Bluebird is down minus 3.4%. And our earlier support of 6.44 is now going to become a resistance. And I'm going to mark it so. It's not looking good either because of MACD being bearish and momentum non-existent. If you look at Editas, it is down minus 4%. Again, MACD is tending towards the signal line and momentum is falling. So it's not looking good for Editas either. It's going to fall down further. CRISPR is down minus 4.2%. Again, the indicators are showing us really very, very bearish sign. The momentum is falling steeply and MACD is turning bearish. So nothing good for CRISPR. Intelia also down minus 4.72%. And MACD is bearish and momentum is falling. No good sign for Intelia. Same situation for Beam. It's fallen below the last support, which was there of 70.08. So I'm going to turn that into a resistance and we'll see what happens tomorrow. MACD is bearish. Momentum is falling. Nothing good for Beam. PSEB is down minus 6% despite whatever good news I spoke about yesterday. So we have a support at 10.37 for PSEB, but our MACD is looking bearish and momentum is flat and it's below average, so nothing good for PSEB. So that brings me to an end of my attempt to do some technical analysis on these stocks. The overall sentiment is bad, so we have to wait for overall sentiment to improve to see anything positive. So right now I am still sitting on the sidelines. I have infused another $10,000 into my portfolio, which will arrive into the bank, into my trading system, probably around 10 o'clock in the morning today. And when I go back and look at my my portfolio, I'll see that money out there, and I'll consider waiting on the sidelines to see further drops before I invest. And if I do invest, I'm looking at CRISPR Therapeutics as one of my potential targets, and I would be looking at ARCG to dollar cost average down because they have covered the entire segment that we are looking at. So that's my plans going forward. And thanks for watching this video. And if you're a new subscriber, please consider subscribing, and please consider putting a like here so that others can discover our channel. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye for now.